After a glorious love affair, Marcelo Bielsa and Leeds have parted company. Here is a look at 10 of his most defining moments in charge at Elland Road. Number 1, Leeds 3, Stoke 1, August 5th, 2018. It was the grand unveiling of all unveilings. Bielsa had been installed as manager. Stoke had been installed as pre-season championship favourites to win the division. How quickly could Bielsa implement that style? Very quickly. Leeds fans and the watching public were blown away on live TV as Leeds took Stoke to school in a 3-1 win that got everybody very excited very quickly. Number 2, Spygate. It looked just like an ordinary game between Leeds and Derby. I was there. Leeds won 2-0. Jack Clark was outstanding. But Marcelo Bielsa was asked prior to the game about a man who was arrested at Derby's training ground and confessed to sending him to have a look, see what Derby were up to in the build-up to the game. This opened up a whole Pandora's box about ethics, and Leeds were charged. Derby were not very happy. Leeds were fined £200,000, which apparently Marcelo Bielsa paid himself for a breach of 3.4 in the EFL's Code of Ethics in terms of acting in utmost good faith to an opponent. What also followed was an extraordinary press conference by Bielsa where he showed all of his data analytics prior to facing an opponent and suggested that sending someone to the training ground was very traditional in South America and just the tip of the iceberg in his preparation. Number 3, Easter 2019. Leeds went into the Easter period of 2019 on a really healthy points total, 3 points clear ahead of nearest challengers Sheffield United. Leeds second, Sheffield United third, but they came out of the weekend 3 points adrift after losing both of their Easter games. Inexplicably at home to Wigan, who were struggling down at the bottom of the table. Leeds had chance after chance after chance. I think Wigan went down to 10 men that day as well. It just was fated not to happen. Leeds went under to Brentford the following game, I think on the Easter Monday. And by the time Leeds played again in a Sunday match, Sheffield United had pretty much made it unassailable for Leeds to catch them, as they'd won all of their games in the meantime, and it was going to take a 13-goal swing across 2 games for Leeds to recover from their fatal Easter 2019 slip. Number 4, letting Aston Villa score. I'd booked myself a ticket for Leeds versus Aston Villa expecting to see something extraordinary, namely a promotion party. That didn't happen. See our previous event and Leeds Easter weekend, and Sheffield United have put paid to that. However, I did see something extraordinary. Jonathan Codger goes down. The Villa players stop. They expect Leeds to kick the ball out. They don't. Leeds continue. Matt Click sticks the ball in the net. All hell breaks loose. El Ghazi gets red carded. Bamford gets a retrospective ban. Dean Smith, John Terry yelling at Bielsa. Leeds should have kicked the ball out, they said. Marcelo Bielsa agrees. And he lets Aston Villa and Albert Adoma walk the ball, okay, under a bit of duress from Pontus Jansson, who didn't like this at all, into the goal. I've never seen it in my life. I'll probably never see it again. Only Bielsa, right, as he lets Aston Villa walk in a goal at Elland Road. Number 5, playoff heartbreak. Look, we've seen plenty of dramatic playoff tales in Championship history, but Leeds and Bielsa took things to new heights with this one. Who are their opponents? Of course, Derby, their Spygate rivals. But Leeds recovered well from the bad end of the season and won the first leg 1-0 at Pride Park. Never, ever, ever had 6th place, lost the home leg of a playoff game, and then turned things around to win the away leg. I think we all know what's coming, but Leeds push on. They go 2-0 up on aggregate, 1-0 up also in the second leg. At the point Jack Marriott comes on, 44 minutes into the semi-final second leg, all Leeds had to do was defend a 2-goal lead for the remaining 46 minutes. I think we all know what's coming. A mad, incredible collapse from Leeds. 3 goals conceded by minute 58. But they do get a goal back. It's 3-3 on aggregate. However, a red card and a now famous breakaway goal at the end of the game. Richard Keogh playing in Jack Marriott. 4-2 to Derby on the night. 4-3. Only Bielsa. Only Leeds. In probably the most mad and dramatic playoff semi-final turnaround we've seen. Number 6, Brentford 1, Leeds 1. Leeds went again strongly at the start of the 1920 season, and themselves and West Brom had put themselves way in front coming into Christmas of 2019. However, were Leeds going to collapse and throw it all away again? It looked plausible. 2 wins in 11 going into a game at Brentford, the scene of their Easter heartbreak the previous year. We heard stories of a Churchillian Bielsa speech after the defeat and an incredible press conference by Luke Ayling at Nottingham Forest the game before. Things had closed up to the point that if Brentford win this game in February, they overtake Leeds. Everything could have changed, and more adversity with problematic goalkeeper Kiko Casilla letting the ball under his foot for Saeed Benrahma to score. However, Leeds get the equaliser, a captain's goal from Liam Cooper, and that proves the turning point. Either side of the first COVID lockdown, Leeds win 12 out of their last 14 games for an incredible run-in to take the title by 10 points. Everything turned at Brentford though. Number 7, promotion party. Yes, Marcelo Bielsa comes across as a strange football mad professor type person, but he also comes across as a bit of a lovable grandpa type figure as well. And this was fully in evidence after Leeds eventually secured that promotion up to the Premier League. 3 different occasions. Firstly, we saw the players cheering Bielsa into the training complex. Secondly, the scenes up in the director's box or the hospitality box, wherever it was in the main stand at Leeds. And that hug with Kalvin Phillips, father figure, doesn't even come close. But it was the connection with the fans, wasn't it? And Bielsa, so typically in a small little 2 up, 2 down house in Wetherby, is mobbed by Leeds fans when he gets out of his car. And he kind of very awkwardly and shyly says thank you to every single one of them. And it was that connection with the fans over and above everything that will be Bielsa's legacy. Number 8, back in the big time. Look, let's face it, Leeds coming up and finishing 9th place in the Premier League after being away for so long. We could pick out any number of moments from that season. I feel that it's appropriate to go for 2 games against 2 of the elite teams, Liverpool and Manchester City. Liverpool, the existing champions, Manchester City are going to be the champions. The first one was opening day, Leeds visit Anfield. And if anybody didn't know what Leeds were going to be about or how they were going to play, they knew after game 1. Leeds lose 4-3, but we learned immediately that Bielsa was going to play exactly the same way in the Premier League as he had done in the Championship, and we realised that Leeds were going to be a lot of fun at the top level and not whipping boys at all. Later in the season, they went to Manchester City, who were going to be the champions. They won 2-1 at the Etihad, and they went down to 10 men, and they got the winner late on through Stuart Dallas with 10 men in one of these master-apprentice games between Bielsa and Pep Guardiola. A brilliant season. You can't really pick out a single moment, but I find those 2 games very representative of Bielsa in 2020-21. Number 9, losing Bamford and Phillips. Bielsa always had a small squad, and 2 players that were absolutely key in that squad and indeed in Leeds' first team were Patrick Bamford and Kalvin Phillips. Phillips starred for England as they got to the final of the Euros. Bamford scored, I think, 17 goals in the Premier League the previous season. And Bielsa had to do without them right the way through this winter. I think since September, Patrick Bamford has only played 22 minutes for Leeds. And since November the 30th, Kalvin Phillips has only played 55 minutes for Leeds. Would we be sitting here making this video if both of those players had been available? I don't know. Or is it more fuel on the fire that Bielsa never had a big enough squad and fell on his sword a little bit in that regard. Number 10, January transfer window 2022. What happened? Nothing happened. And I think a lot of people would consider that might have been the problem. I say nothing happened. Well, Cody Drammer, a Leeds youngster, went out on loan to Cardiff. But should Bielsa have brought in just some extra bodies, ditched his long-term philosophy just for the sake of these last months of the season where there was a particular hole in central midfield and he was without Bamford and Phillips, as we mentioned in the previous segment. As ever, Bielsa, call him stubborn, call him an absolutist. He had his squad. If there were injuries, he was going to go with the same squad. But would one or two through the door in January have saved his skin? We'll never know. That is my 10 defining moments for Marcelo Bielsa's tenure at Leeds. It's by no means definitive. It's absolutely not a top 10, and it's all very, very subjective. So if you feel that there are moments that would make your 10 defining moments for Marcelo Bielsa, please feel free to stick them down there in the comments. Hit that thumbs up button, like the video, and hit subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave your bias at the door, and it's a lovely over and out from me.